Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? Hey, this is Garrett from the 10-Day Producer. I got a quick video for you today. We're going to do a deep dive on one of my favorite plugins in Ableton. It is called Delay, and it is right here. This is what the plugin looks like. I'm going to go ahead and delete it and completely start from scratch. Okay, so let's just go ahead and completely zero this session out. So I'm now looking at session view here. All right, our session is completely zeroed out. I am going to go into my 10-day sample pack right over here. And then I'm going to go into my melodic loops folder right there. I'm going to go ahead and right click arrow on that. Or it's not right click arrow, I'm just going to go ahead and right arrow. And it's going to open up to all these ones. I am going to go down to this one because I think it's going to be a nice way to demonstrate the delay plugin. So let's go ahead and just drag this guy right into one of our audio tracks. Play it from here. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to Command F and I'm just going to type in delay. I'm going to down arrow. There it is. Since my Jolly Loop track is selected, I'm just going to go ahead and push enter. Boom. And now, there it is. Check it out. All right. So if you were looking at this plugin for the first time, I'm excited for you. Check it out. There's a few main operation areas. We've got one right here, and then kind of one right here. For just the first part, we're going to just hang out over here. Now this part, where it says left and right, these are going to be your channels. This is your left and your right channel. And we've got this little chain right here. That's telling Ableton that no matter what happens, these are going to stay together. Now when I turn that off, immediately went from 4 to 3. So let's just go ahead and leave this on right now. So now each one of these numbers basically represents a delay time. And it is actually synced to our BPM. So generally these 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, and 4 are going to be pretty even with the beat. Let's see how that sounds. I'm going to zoom out. So before I get really started, I'm actually just going to go ahead and deactivate the delay just so we can hear what our sample sounds like without any delay at all. So I'm going to go ahead and deactivate it. Okay, great. Now I'm going to turn it back on. And then another way to do this is you can actually leave this plugin on, but if you go ahead and drop this knob to dry 0%, you won't hear the effect at all. If you bring it up, you'll start to hear it. All right, and there it was. It's already working. So currently we have our delay set to 4, which in this case is quarter notes. So every quarter note that's happening, we're hearing basically like an extra. Basically, after a quarter note, you're kind of hearing it again. Imagine you're looking at a mountainside, right? If you go, ah, you're going to hear, ah, ah, ah. That is delay right there. And that amount of time it takes between, that's going to be right here, this section. So if we go ahead and move this up to like 8 or something, it's going to be a lot greater of a distance between delays. Check it out. Hear how long it's going for. It's taking a long, long time now. So that is the delay time over here. And basically just mess around with all these buttons. I wouldn't really recommend going this far. If you push this button up here, it'll actually take your delay time out of sync and just put it to time. So it won't sync it to your BPM anymore, but that doesn't mean this isn't going to be bad. You can definitely get some cool results. It's just a little bit more unpredictable. Not bad, not good, just unpredictable. And then also if you unlink them, you can actually go really crazy and have one be time delayed and one be sync delayed. Which can yield some really interesting results, especially when you move it. You'll notice that it sounds really weird. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and leave these linked right now and have it on sync. So let's go back here. Okay. And then there's one more button down here actually called feedback. And this is going to basically be how long the delay is going to be working for. So not the interval between your delays, but rather how long they delay for in total, no matter what your delay time is. So if I have this on pretty high, and I'm just going to go ahead and move the delay time back to 2. If I push 2, I'm going to push pause. It's going to go for a while. It's going to go for a long time. If I move it down even more, that'll last a while. And that's feedback over here. If you push infinite, then it'll last forever when you push it on. Even when you pause it, it'll still happen. It's great for performances. I haven't really used it ever in an arrangement, but, you know, do you. Okay, we're going to jump into this second section right here. This is going to be your filter section. If you don't understand EQ, this might be a little difficult, but honestly, I got you. EQ is not a crazy thing to really understand, I think, in concept. Let's take a look over here. All right, so we got this gray dot right here. So this is actually deactivated right now. The filter, that's what this is right here. This is the filter, is deactivated. So if I click this little square, it's now going to turn on. It's got this nice blue. So what's going on here is everything under this line is what's being sent to your delay. Now, this whole rectangle right here, this is going to be your EQ. So this right here, this is your low sounds. These are your mid sounds, and these are your high sounds. Your lows, your kind of mids, and your highs. That's kind of where all these live. So check it out. If I push this button right here and move this down, all this stuff over here is not going to be sent to our delay. So let's see what that sounds like. I'm going to zoom out. Check it out. I'm going to move it down. So it becomes a lot quieter, right? Because we're not letting as much through. And when you open it up again, everything gets sent to the delay. So this is especially nice because this track actually has, I'm going to turn the feedback down a little bit. This track has some bass on it. What I'm going to do is I don't really want the bass to be in the delay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag this thing down and move it a little forward. Now, all this space over here, this low end stuff, just isn't going to be in the delay because I've told the filter to cut it out. Cut it out, filter. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Now we don't really hear the bass so much. All right, nice. And then pushing this button right here will control both of these parameters, the filter and the width. I like messing with this. I don't rarely use these. I just kind of get in there and grab it. This down here, this is just like weirdness. If you want some weirdness, basically, go ahead and do that. So these things right here, this is the speed of what your modulation will do. And your modulation is just basically going to be how much we're going to move some of this stuff over time. So right now, the filter is going to modulate at a rate of 1.67 hertz. And then our time right here, this means that we can modulate the time of the delay. So this section, we can modulate it and move it at this speed. So if you want to really get crazy, check this out. Turn your delay up, turn your time up to 100%. And now we're hearing that modulate over time a lot because it's at 100%. So I'm going to back that off. Now it's still moving. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? And this is the speed at how crazy it's going. So if I turn it down, the rate is not as high. It's slower. If I turn it up high, it's a little weird. That's a pretty cool sound. Wow, actually, that was sweet. Okay, cool. So that's this little section right here. Again, this little bottom row changes the filter and your time at this rate over time. Now this section over here, repitch, fade, and jump, I'm going to be honest, I actually just leave it on repitch pretty much forever. Let's mess with it and see how it sounds. Okay, so that really changes how the modulation sounds. Wow, that's crazy. What about jump? Oh, that's not really working with this one. Okay, well, I like to repitch the best. Ping pong is a super fun button. This will basically just shoot your delay to the left and the right signal, and it'll make it a lot less focused and more ethereal. But when the delay is tight like this, it doesn't really matter so much. You can't really hear a difference. So I'm going to increase the delay time to 4, turn ping pong on, and I'm going to turn it off. It just puts it right in the center pretty much. So let's put it on 2. Makes it a little more focused. Ping pong will just shoot them to the left and the right. Probably not the biggest. If you're really hearing this with headphones, then you're going to notice a difference. But if you're not hearing with headphones, you're probably not going to notice that much of a difference. That's totally okay. The big section to look at over here is going to be dry, wet. So this is going to control how much delay you're actually sending into this channel right here. Because again, all this is just from this channel. So this clip, this jolly loop, is going through our delay plugin. And the dry, wet right here controls how much of the affected signal will go through it. So right now, our dry wet is at 50%. That means that we are hearing 50% of what you are hearing is the dry, totally unaffected signal of that loop. Bow, 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 bow. And then right here, wet is the delay. That's how much of the delay that you're going to hear. So right now, this track is producing half of the unaffected signal and half of the totally affected signal. So if I back this off to 0, you're not going to hear the delay at all anymore. And if I do it to 100%, you're only going to hear the delay effect from this anymore. You're not going to hear the original sample. So the bass is gone or the treble is gone because I've cut it in the delay. And since you're only hearing the delay, you're not hearing the bass and the treble. So let's back this off a little bit because I only ever have this at 100%. Well, sometimes I'll have it 100%. But mostly it's 100% over here in the sends and returns, which is totally different thing. We're not talking about that right now. But that is dry wet. Most plugins you're going to notice have a dry wet, which is awesome. It just basically means that you can choose how much you want your plugin to work, how hard you want it to work, which I love. It's much, much nicer when you can have a dry wet because then you have a choice of how much you want it to affect your original signal, which is really, really, really helpful in this case. So that is going to be a quick deep dive on delay. I hope this helped. Please check out my website, check out my Instagram. Go ahead and hit me with a DM. I'd be happy to help you. Hit me with a comment. Go ahead and push that subscribe button if this helped you. Got a bunch more content coming out soon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, my name is Garrett from the 10-Day Producer. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Happy producing.